What's happening to Roman Reigns at just 41 has WWE fans seriously concerned. After promising a busy summer schedule as World Heavyweight Champion, the Tribal Chief was suddenly removed from several upcoming appearances. Keep watching, because a new backstage update may finally explain why Roman is stepping away from the spotlight. April in Las Vegas. Allegiant Stadium is packed to the rafters. 55,000 people filling every seat on night 2 of WrestleMania 42. And right there, in the dead center of all of it, Roman Reigns, 40 years old at that point, weeks away from his 41st birthday, is standing in the main event against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. This wasn't a feel-good comeback story handed to him. He had earned that shot. He had won the 2026 Royal Rumble match, the most brutal, chaotic annual match in professional wrestling, and chose his opponent. He pointed at Punk, and the entire wrestling world leaned in. What happened in that ring over the next 34 minutes is one of the most talked about WrestleMania main events in years. World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk and 2026 Royal Rumble winner Roman Reigns clashed in one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. From the opening bell, the two men came at each other like they'd been saving every ounce of contempt for exactly this moment. The match was tense to start as Punk slapped Reigns before Reigns prevented a huge elbow drop attempt onto the announce table, then tied Punk in the ropes and dismantled him with a Superman punch. The crowd was electric, back and forth, neither man letting the other breathe. Reigns threw Punk right through the announce table with a powerbomb, splintering it into multiple pieces. But Punk kept coming. Punk always keeps coming. That's what makes him dangerous. Near the end of the match, it looked like Punk might actually pull it off. He connected with his GTS finisher. He tried to hoist Reigns for a second one, but the weight, the exhaustion, the accumulated punishment of over half an hour, it caught up with him. Punk connected with his GTS finisher, then got Reigns on top of his shoulders for a second go at the move. But Punk crumbled under the weight of the OTC when he tried for the move once again, falling to the canvas before he could even begin the finisher's motion. The damage from more than half an hour of fighting had taken its toll, and forced Punk to give up control of the battle. A defeated Punk was then put away by a pair of spears from Reigns, who won with a pinfall. Roman Reigns defeated CM Punk in 33:57 to win the World Heavyweight Championship. New champion, new era. One finger pointing to the sky. The Roman Empire, if there ever was any doubt, was back. Now, here's where the word sad starts to creep in, because this was not supposed to happen this way. A year before this, in this same city, on this same stage, WrestleMania 41, Reigns walked out of the main event as a loser. His most trusted ally in the world stabbed him in the back. His win percentage for the entire year dropped to under 43%. He spent 2025 disappearing from TV, returning just in time for major shows, and then vanishing again. The man who once ruled WWE for over 1,300 consecutive days as champion spent a full calendar year without a single title. In 2025, Reigns had no title, no advocate, and no gravitational pull. That sentence, read it again. The man who defined WWE for half a decade, no title, no advocate, no gravitational pull. That is what 2025 looked like. And that context is what makes the WrestleMania 42 moment hit the way it does. Seth Rollins celebrated at WrestleMania 41 after a double betrayal that ended Reigns' main event run. Cody Rhodes stood across from him at Survivor Series with a look that said, "I'm done being your ally." Paul Heyman, the man who built the Tribal Chief persona alongside Reigns for 4 years, was wearing Rollins' colors. The three people most associated with Roman's peak had all turned their back on him within the same calendar year. And the fans online, they were split. Some said Reigns was done, that his part-time schedule had finally caught up with him, that the era was over, and he was just going through the motions until his contract ran out. A Vanity Fair profile published last April revealed his WWE contract runs through WrestleMania 42. "After I finish the contract that I'm in, we probably got another year or two max," Reigns said. So even the man himself was signaling the end was near. And yet, WrestleMania 42, World Heavyweight Champion again. So when people say what just happened to Roman Reigns is sad, They're not wrong, but they're also not fully right. Because the story is bigger than any single moment. It's bigger than one WrestleMania win. It's the whole arc. From a kid who was told at 22 that he had leukemia, to a professional football player whose dreams were killed by a blood test, to a wrestler who got booed out of arenas for years, to the most dominant champion in modern wrestling history, to a man who lost everything in 2025, to a champion again at 41. That story doesn't fit neatly into sad. But to understand why that word keeps coming up, and why it keeps finding its way into conversations about Roman Reigns right now, you have to go back, all the way back. You have to go back to before the tribal chief, before the bloodline, before the shield. You have to go back to when this man almost lost 2 careers to the same disease. Liadi Joseph Anoa'i was born May 25, 1985. He grew up in a household where professional wrestling wasn't just entertainment. It was the family business. The Anoa'i family tree is one of the most decorated in the history of the sport. His father, Sika, was one half of the legendary Wild Samoans. His cousins were the Usos. His extended family included names like Yokozuna, Umaga, Rikishi. The ring was in his blood before he ever laced up a pair of boots. But Roman Joe didn't want wrestling first. He wanted football. He was good at it, too. He was a top high school player in Florida before going on to become a 3-year starter at defensive tackle at Georgia Tech, where he played on a team with future NFL Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson. He was voted first-team All-ACC in 2006 with 40 tackles, 2 recovered fumbles, and 4-5 sacks. He went undrafted, but he got his shot anyway. The Vikings, then the Jaguars, then a season up in Edmonton with the CFL. He was on the path. Not a straight path, not a guaranteed one, but he was grinding, and then the ground fell away. He went undrafted, but was signed by the Minnesota Vikings in 2007 before being released when he was diagnosed with leukemia at 22 years old. Just like that. A routine physical, a blood test, a disease he didn't see coming, a disease that had no cure, a disease that at 22 ended his football career before it had really started. The Minnesota Vikings dropped Reigns within a month of his initial diagnosis, and after less than memorable stints with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the CFL's Edmonton Eskimos, his professional football career was done. There are no words for what that must feel like. You're 22. You've trained your whole life. You've gotten yourself to the highest level of your sport, and then a doctor sits you down. That's it. The dream is over, not because you failed, not because someone was better than you, but because your own body betrayed you. He went back to Florida. He went back to his family. And eventually he turned to the one other world he'd always known. Professional wrestling. When he was released by the Eskimos, Reigns retired from pro football and refocused himself on the job title he was destined for all along, professional wrestler. In late 2009, he was sleeping on the couch of Jey Uso while trying to make it with Florida Championship Wrestling, a Tampa-based WWE developmental promotion. Sleeping on his cousin's couch, working his way up from nothing. The same man who would one day hold the Universal Championship for 316 days straight was crashing with family, trying to figure out if this second dream was even possible. That detail right there, that one image, is the foundation of everything that follows. There's a version of this story where Roman Reigns gets to the top of WWE and everything is smooth. The crowd loves him from day one. The push makes sense. The character resonates immediately. That is not what happened. What actually happened was one of the most turbulent ascensions in WWE history. A man who was pushed to the front of the line before the audience was ready for him and who absorbed years of genuine hostility as a result. When he first showed up on the main roster in late 2012, it wasn't as Roman Reigns the singles star. It was as part of The Shield, a three-man faction alongside Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins that crashed into WWE like a wrecking ball and immediately became one of the most talked about acts in the company. Reigns would transition to WWE's main roster as part of a stable known as The Shield, alongside his fellow wrestlers Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. The trio had an impactful debut at the 2012 Payback event, where they disrupted the main storyline between CM Punk and Ryback to help Punk keep the title. In their first few years in WWE, the group was featured in a number of major storylines and won tag team and mid-card titles. Inside The Shield, Roman was the enforcer. The physical presence, the guy who delivered the spear that ended matches. He didn't need to talk much. He didn't need to carry promos. He just needed to show up, look the part, and demolish people. And he was genuinely outstanding at it. Although all three men were each popular in their own right, Reigns was the standout of the group, earning the nickname the Big Dog. In 2014, he was voted Superstar of the Year by fans. The crowd wasn't just tolerating him at this point, they were choosing him. And then the Shield broke up, and the company decided that Roman Reigns was the next John Cena. The problem? The fans weren't asked, they were told. Although now portrayed as a WWE hero, Reigns proved to be a polarizing figure when it came to crowd reactions. Many members of the wrestling fandom felt that his ascension had been rushed and attributed his early success to his familial connections. His appearances were met with some of the loudest reactions among the WWE roster as dueling chants of support and derision erupted from the crowds during his matches. This was not subtle. There were nights where the crowd turned on him in ways that should have been embarrassing for a company booking him as their #1 good guy. WrestleMania after WrestleMania, the man walked in as the face of the company and walked out to a mixed reaction at best, outright hostility at worst. It was a years-long PR crisis playing out in real time in front of TV cameras. WWE positioned Roman as the successor to John Cena, but fans rejected him as a corporate creation. His scripted promos felt inauthentic, leading to loud boos during his loss to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. And even his victory over The Undertaker. He won the title. He lost the title. He won it again. Lost it again. The company kept pushing him to the top, and a significant section of the audience kept pushing back. It was exhausting to watch, and you can only imagine what it was like to live through. And then, after years of this, he finally got the one title run that seemed to vindicate all of it. SummerSlam 2018. Brock Lesnar, the Universal Championship. The Big Dog was finally on top. That all changed on the October 22 edition of Monday Night Raw, when Reigns announced that the leukemia that he had lived with for 11 years had returned right at the peak, right at the moment the company had been building to for years. Standing in that ring, dropping the character, dropping the promo voice, and telling the world something that almost no one knew. He told them that his real name was Joe, that he had been battling leukemia for more than a decade, and that cancer had returned to his body. He said he had to give up the Universal title and go away indefinitely for treatment. He confessed a secret to millions that only his closest friends and family knew up to that point. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever had to do in front of a live crowd. Reigns told ESPN. The crowd that had booed him for years went completely silent, and then they cheered. Not the scripted, pumped-up kind, the real kind. The kind where people in the building were wiping their eyes. When WWE panned its camera to show the crowd, there were fans in tears as he spoke. He was gone for 4 months. Treatment, recovery, fighting something that couldn't be speared or Superman punched. Something that didn't care about championships or kayfabe or ratings. Just a man and a disease and the people who loved him. On February 25, 2019, Reigns made his return to Raw, revealing that his leukemia was once again in remission to a huge ovation from the crowd. The reaction in that arena was the closest WWE had come to genuine universal love for this man in years, maybe ever. The return from cancer doesn't have a bad guy. There's no heel to root against. There's just a guy who almost lost everything and came back. Regardless of how some fans may think of him as a wrestler, one can't deny that Roman Reigns' comeback from leukemia is one of the most inspiring wrestling stories of the past decade. But then something strange happened. He came back as the babyface again, the smiling good guy, the scripted promos, the choreographed hero, and the honeymoon period from the cancer announcement wore off faster than anyone expected. Fans' sympathy wore off as he remained a superhero babyface. By early 2020, the boos returned. He soon took a hiatus due to the COVID pandemic and health concerns, leaving a massive void at the top of the card. There it was again. The same cycle. The push, the resistance, the exhaustion. Only this time, a global pandemic intervened. The COVID-19 pandemic was not easy for anyone. But as WWE was forced to move its events to the quiet isolation of the WWE Performance Center, Reigns, left immunocompromised from his 2 fights with leukemia, was cornered into some difficult decisions. His choice to pull out of his WrestleMania 36 match against Goldberg was controversial. But here's the thing about disappearing at exactly the right time. Sometimes it doesn't just protect your health. Sometimes it gives you the space to completely reinvent yourself. By August 2020, Roman had been gone for 5 months. The arenas were empty. The world was different. And when he stepped back through those curtains at SummerSlam 2020, nothing about him was the same. When Roman returned at SummerSlam 2020, everything was different, including Roman himself. This comeback sparked his heel turn that eventually established him as the Tribal Chief. Fans were finally ready to embrace the character as he transformed into the most dominant force in the industry. The smiling superhero was dead. In his place stood something far more compelling. A man who looked at his own family and said, "Acknowledge me or suffer." A man who weaponized his heritage and turned it into something cold and calculating and magnetic. The Tribal Chief had arrived. Paul Heyman, the most celebrated manager in professional wrestling history, stepped into his corner, not just as a mouthpiece, as a strategist, as a force multiplier. The combination of Heyman's charisma on the mic and Reigns' silent, predatory presence on screen became one of the most effective partnerships the sport had ever seen. He revealed Heyman as his special counsel, an alliance that gave him immediate power. His first words as champion were definitive. "I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm the guy." Heyman's famous introductions added immediate legitimacy to the reign. He acted as the perfect mouthpiece, allowing Roman to project power through silence. Roman barely spoke but commanded the room. Heyman handled promos when Roman chose silence, creating an aura of untouchability. And then the bloodline formed. Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn briefly. The cousins fell in line one by one, some willingly, some through force. There were I Quit matches. There were beatdowns of family members. There were moments so emotionally raw that they blurred the line between scripted drama and something more authentic. Roman forced his own cousin to submit, establishing that family loyalty meant submitting to the Tribal Chief. Jey's broken acceptance created sympathy while cementing the ruthless character of the Roman Reigns bloodline era. The popularity of Reigns and the bloodline storyline led WWE to its most financially successful period in company history to date. Viewership of the wrestling brand was higher than ever, as WrestleMania 38 was the most viewed event in WWE history. The numbers don't lie. The Tribal Chief era didn't just make Roman Reigns more popular, it made the entire company more money than it had ever made before. He was the engine. He was the reason people were watching. To understand what 2025 felt like for Roman Reigns and why the word sad keeps attaching itself to his story, you need to understand what came before it. Because the drop can only be felt in full when you understand the height. 316 days. That number, just sit with it for a second. Reigns' 316-day reign as WWE Universal Champion is the longest reign of the title's history, the 4th longest world title reign in WWE history, and the longest championship reign recognized by the company since 1988. Since 1988, that's not a modern record. That's an all-time record by a massive margin. For perspective, the average WWE title reign in the modern era lasts somewhere between 2 weeks and a few months. Some champions hold a belt for a couple of days as part of a hot potato booking decision. The idea of one person holding the same championship for over 3.5 years in the current era is almost incomprehensible. And it wasn't just the length, it was what happened during that time. The bloodline ran roughshod over WWE, with Reigns becoming the longest reigning Universal Champion and also capturing the WWE Championship by defeating Lesnar once again for the title at WrestleMania 38. He held both belts simultaneously. Moving forward as undisputed WWE Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief undeniably put together one of the most dominant title reigns of all time. During those 316 days, Reigns faced and defeated virtually every major name WWE had to offer. Brock Lesnar, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, The Usos, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, LA Knight, and perhaps most significantly, Cody Rhodes not once but twice at back-to-back WrestleManias. After wins over both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Reigns defeated Cody Rhodes to retain his gold at WrestleMania 39. Roman then defeated Jey Uso one more time in a tribal combat match at SummerSlam 2023. The match against Rhodes at WrestleMania 39 was one of those nights where the crowd so desperately wanted a title change that the air in the building felt charged with something almost unbearable. And Reigns beat him anyway. The crowd went quiet. Not the good kind of quiet. And then the next year, WrestleMania 40, the rematch. This time with The Rock in Reigns' corner. The build to that match was the kind of generational cinematic storytelling that wrestling rarely achieves. The Rock returning as a villain, the Bloodline on one side, Rhodes and Rollins on the other, sold out arenas across the country, buzzing about it months before the event. And this time, Rhodes won. The next time Reigns was pinned in a singles match was in April 2024, almost 5 years after his previous singles loss. 5 years. The man went 5 years without being pinned in a singles match. That streak ended at WrestleMania 40, in a loss that felt like it was meant to signal the beginning of a new era for both men. Upon Rhodes' defeat at a later point, the official title history for the Universal Championship was amended, removing Rhodes and officially recognizing Reigns as the final champion, with the title's retirement being his loss at WrestleMania XL. The history books, years later, would formally enshrine that run as the end of a lineage. Roman Reigns, final Universal Champion. Full stop. So what do you do after that? You've held a belt for over 300 days. You've beaten everyone. You've carried the company through its most profitable period in history. You've had your legacy cemented in the record books, and you've just lost the belt at the biggest show of the year. The answer, apparently, was to go home. Take time off, let the landscape shift, and then come back. But what Roman came back to in 2025 was not what he left. Roman Reigns seemed poised for greatness in 2025. Instead, a year that began with a bang ends with a whimper. The year started with promise. Real, legitimate promise. The kind of storyline juice that gets fans excited going into a new calendar year. WWE was launching on Netflix, a massive deal, a massive audience, a massive stage. And the opening match on the very first episode was Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa in tribal combat for the Ulafala. Solo Sikoa, his own blood, his own cousin, had spent months attempting to take over the bloodline while Roman was gone. He'd built his own version of the faction, called himself the Tribal Chief, worn the sacred necklace that wasn't his. And now, on the biggest night in WWE's streaming history, Roman had to take it back. It began with promise. After defeating Solo Sikoa at Raw's Netflix debut, Reigns was officially crowned the undisputed Tribal Chief by his cousin, The Rock. The Roman Empire is back, Michael Cole proclaimed as Reigns raised his finger to the sky. The Rock walking out to acknowledge Roman, the Eulafala placed back around his neck. 57,000 people in the building losing their minds. The cameras cutting to fans who'd been watching for decades losing their composure completely. It was the kind of moment that the entire Bloodline era had been building toward. Full circle. Family restored. The rightful tribal chief back on his throne. It was a triumphant image, but also a misleading one. That victory would be Reigns' last for quite some time, and one of the few he would have all year. That's the gut punch, that peak moment. It was the last time things went cleanly his way for the entire year. Everything after that was turbulence. The Royal Rumble came next, Indianapolis. Reigns entered the match at number 16, scored 4 eliminations, and looked like he was building towards something significant. And then, CM Punk. At the Royal Rumble, Reigns entered the match at number 16, scoring 4 eliminations. As he and Rollins attempted to eliminate each other, both were eliminated from behind by Punk. Rollins then delivered multiple curb stomps to Reigns before storming off. Both men eliminated by the same person, which set up something that had the potential to be the WrestleMania main event of the year. A triple threat between 3 of the biggest names in the company. But it wouldn't go the way Roman needed it to go. WrestleMania 41. Las Vegas. Night 1 main event. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in a triple threat match. No championship on the line, just 3 of the biggest names in wrestling, each with a legitimate claim to being the best, settling it on the grandest stage. The kind of match that writes its own hype, and Roman was good in it. The tribal chief delivered one of the best performances of his career in that match. He came in with the presence of a man who'd been doing this for over a decade, who understood the weight of the moment, who knew how to fill a WrestleMania-sized stage. And then Paul Heyman detonated a bomb in the middle of it. Paul Heyman played a crucial role during the build for Roman Reigns' triple threat match for WrestleMania 41. However, the Wiseman shockingly betrayed Roman at the show of shows to join Seth Rollins. This huge betrayal helped the Visionary win the main event match. It marked the end of the 4-year-long alliance between Reigns and Heyman. 4 years. Think about what that means. Paul Heyman had been at Roman's side from the very beginning of the Tribal Chief era. He'd built that character alongside Reigns. He'd been the voice when Roman chose silence. He'd been the architect of the most dominant period in Roman's career, and in a single moment, in front of the entire world, on the biggest stage of the year, he walked to Seth Rollins' corner. On night 1 of WrestleMania 41, Rollins defeated Reigns and Punk, following a double betrayal by Paul Heyman, who aligned himself with Rollins in the process and turned heel. The crowd reaction when Heyman flipped sides is one of those moments that transcends professional wrestling. You could hear genuine gasps, not the "oh no, the scripted bad thing happened" gasp, the "wait, that wasn't supposed to happen" gasp, the kind that comes from deep in the chest. For Roman, the character and the person, that betrayal opened a wound that the rest of 2025 would keep picking at. He was cut down by Braun Breaker, cementing Rollins' rise and giving birth to the Vision, while Reigns' empire continued to crumble. 2 nights after WrestleMania 41 on Raw, Roman tried to show up with something to say, and got ambushed for his trouble, laid out, carried off, written off TV. What followed was a pattern that defined his entire 2025: disappear, return just before a major event, build something, get beaten down, disappear again. The OTC's WWE run in 2025 was far from exciting, primarily due to his irregular schedule, despite appearing in quite a few WWE premium live events. The rest of his run was a lackluster one. He took several timeouts and returned after short intervals. The wins kept Roman relevant, but the losses kept mounting. The statistics show that out of the 7 matches Reigns wrestled that year, he ended up losing 4 of them, while winning only 3, with no match ending in a DQ or draw. This made his win percentage only 42.9%, which is far lower than what it had been in past years, 42.9%. For a man whose booking had been built around an almost supernatural dominance, for a man who, between August 2020 and April 2024, had barely lost a match, for a man whose character's entire mythology rested on the idea that he was unbeatable, even before Reigns became the OTC and had the impressive 1,316-day reign with the Universal Championship. His win percentage was always way better than what it is now. Seth Rollins beat him at WrestleMania. Bronson Reed beat him at Crown Jewel. The Vision, Rollins' new faction that included Heyman, spent months hunting him down and putting him on the mat. Rollins and the Vision went on to destroy Roman Reigns multiple times in 2025. The SummerSlam match with Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Reed was a win, which gave some hope. Roman and Jey working together carried echoes of the old bloodline chemistry, family, loyalty, something real underneath the performance, but even that win felt like borrowed momentum rather than a genuine reset. The stare-down with Rhodes summed up Reigns' 2025. Moments without momentum. He made more returns than trips to the winner's circle. He ambushed Rollins during a steel cage match with Punk in February, then resurfaced in July, 3 months after WrestleMania, to confront the Vision. The pattern was becoming a story all on its own, not the story WWE was trying to tell, but the one that observers and fans were increasingly talking about: a part-time schedule, limited television appearances, storylines that couldn't build proper momentum because the main character kept disappearing. And then came Survivor Series, War Games, the double ring steel cage match that closed out 2025. Roman teamed with Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and the Usos against a stacked Vision squad that included Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. The OTC teamed up with Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and the Usos to battle Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. Despite giving valiant efforts, Reigns' team suffered a bitter loss in this epic showdown. Another loss, another night where Roman ended up on the wrong side of the result. And then, in the aftermath of that loss, the moment that perhaps told the story of 2025 better than any single match result, Roman and Cody Rhodes faced off, just the two of them, surrounded by the wreckage of the War Games cage. No words, just a stare. The kind that said, "We're not done." After the match, a tense face-off with undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes signaled the end of their uneasy alliance and teased a future trilogy that now looms larger than ever. That stare-down pointed toward WrestleMania 42, toward a third match between two men who'd traded the biggest win of their careers across consecutive WrestleManias. But the path to that match would twist in a direction nobody quite expected, because Cody Rhodes wouldn't be the man standing across from Roman in Las Vegas. John Cena would happen first, and everything would reshuffle. WWE had originally listed Cody Rhodes as both WWE and Universal Champion until April 2025, when he lost the undisputed title to John Cena. In one of the most talked about storyline turns of 2025, Cena, in what was publicly billed as his retirement year, turned heel and won the championship. The WrestleMania 42 landscape became a moving target. Roman won the 2026 Royal Rumble, chose his shot, and chose CM Punk and the World Heavyweight Championship over a rematch with Cody. The chess pieces had shifted, and Roman Reigns, at 40 years old going on 41, was about to play the defining match of his post-Tribal Chief era. Here's where the emotion of this story catches up with the facts of it. Roman Reigns is 41 years old. Liati Joseph Anoa'i was born in Pensacola, Florida, on May 25, 1985, and is currently 41 years old. He is currently working for World Wrestling Entertainment on the Raw brand and is the reigning World Heavyweight Champion. He has won that championship. He's back on top. By any conventional measure, this is a triumphant story. And yet the man himself has already told us what's coming. Not in the vague, "I'll wrestle forever if my body holds up" way, that most athletes use to dodge the retirement question in a specific, numbered, almost contractually precise way. A Vanity Fair profile published last April revealed his WWE contract runs through WrestleMania 42. After I finish the contract that I'm in, we probably got another year or two, max, Reigns said. Then it's time to take on a less physical form of entertainment. A year or two max. From a man who just won the World Heavyweight Championship. Do the math. We might be watching the last chapter being written in real time. And the combination of that championship celebration and that countdown, that's where the sadness lives. Because you want to hold on to this. You want this version of Roman Reigns, the one who just put CM Punk away in a 34-minute instant classic, in front of 55-0 people, to be the permanent version, not the version winding down, not the version calculating his remaining contract years. But he's been doing this a long time. His body has been through things that most people never have to contemplate. In October 2018, Inoue revealed that he had been living with chronic myeloid leukemia, CML, an incurable but treatable form of blood cancer. Incurable. That word doesn't leave. It just gets managed. The tribal chief revealed that very potent medications exist for the disease, and he is still on some medications to ensure leukemia doesn't come back. Thanks to those medications, he is still in remission and isn't battling a severe case of leukemia, still on medications, managing a chronic condition, performing at the highest level of professional wrestling at 41 years old, absorbing the physical toll of a sport that puts more wear on the human body per year than almost any other. The fact that he's standing, healthy, champion, that's not the baseline. That's genuinely remarkable. And the Hollywood chapter is coming. He is set to appear in Street Fighter alongside Cody Rhodes in October 2026. The Rock did it, Batista did it, John Cena did it. Roman has been positioned for that transition for years. Reigns has long been rumored as the next WWE star to follow The Rock, Batista, and John Cena into Hollywood. But what does that mean for the wrestling? It means the clock is ticking louder than ever. Every title defense from here forward carries the weight of finality. Every return from an absence is now shadowed by the knowledge that one of these returns will be the last one, and the history this man has accumulated makes that reckoning hit harder. Roman Reigns is a 7-time world champion and has won a total of 11 championships in major promotions during his career. He is also a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, WWE Triple Crown champion, and WWE Grand Slam champion. For more than a decade, Reigns has been the face of WWE. He is a 6-time world champion and has headlined WrestleMania an unprecedented 10 times, 10 WrestleMania main events. That number is so far ahead of anyone else in the modern era that comparisons become difficult to draw. You have to reach back to the days of Hulk Hogan or Bruno Sammartino to find comparable dominance of a single event. And Reigns did it in a period where the roster depth, the global reach of the company, and the competition for those slots were all significantly greater. His reign as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion was compared to the historic reigns of wrestling legends Hulk Hogan and Bruno Sammartino. WWE also acknowledges the NWA pre-1993 and WCW titles as world championships, recognizing Reigns as the 6th longest reigning world champion in professional wrestling history. 6th longest in recorded history. Not just WWE, all of pro wrestling, all of it. So when people look at Roman Reigns at 41, holding the World Heavyweight Championship, having just come off a down year in 2025, and they say, that's sad, what they're really reacting to is something specific. They're reacting to the gap between what he once was and what the circumstances of age, health, Hollywood, and schedule management are inevitably turning him into. They're watching a man who held everything become a man, navigating how to let go gracefully. And there's something genuinely affecting about that. It's not pity, it's not diminishment. It's the recognition that time works on everyone, even the ones who've beaten cancer twice, who've held the title for over 3 years, who've main evented more WrestleManias than anyone alive. Now, with a championship around his waist again, the question becomes, what does he do with the time he has left? The fear from some analysts is that Reigns is going to disappear like he usually does ever since adopting the Brock Lesnar rule of thumb, taking lots of time off while WWE promotes every few TV shows, as Reigns returning for a promo to set up the bare minimum of title defenses once in a while. It's a legitimate concern, and it's born from what we watched in 2025. 7 matches in a full calendar year, multiple multi-month absences, storylines that couldn't breathe because the main character kept disappearing. But here's the counter-argument, and it's a strong one. When Roman Reigns does show up, when he is there in the building, in the ring, on the microphone, the reaction he gets is different from almost everyone else in wrestling. Despite not being present for weekly shows, Roman Reigns is still one of the biggest names. In WWE, be it his star power, his charisma, in-ring presence, merchandise sales, or the crowd pop as soon as his music hits, the OTC is still head and shoulders above everybody. Head and shoulders above everybody. That sentence was written about a man who just finished a year where he won barely 43% of his matches. That's the Roman Reigns paradox. The Bloodline story is moving again, too. Currently, he is a member of the Team of the Bloodline with Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu, who spent months as a feared enforcer, and a potential bloodline rival, has now been folded back into the fold. After the clash in Italy 2026, Roman Reigns forced Jacob Fatu to acknowledge him and join the bloodline. Sound familiar? That's the same dynamic that produced some of the most compelling television of the original Bloodline era. Roman bringing someone into the fold not through warmth, but through dominance, through force, through the understanding that acknowledging the tribal chief is not a request. And Roman Reigns is back at the top of WWE. Since capturing the World Heavyweight Championship, beating CM Punk at WrestleMania 42, Night 2, he's the champion. The bloodline is rebuilding. The tribal chief is operating again. Whether that lasts 1 more year or 2 more years, whether the remaining contract time produces one final brilliant championship run, or a gradual handoff of the torch to the next generation, what cannot be argued is the scope of what this man has done. He survived leukemia at 22, survived it again at 33, got booed for years and kept showing up, lost everything in 2025 and came back and won the championship. At the grandest stage of the year, built a family faction. That became the most profitable storyline in WWE history. Did it all while managing a chronic illness that most people would use as an excuse to disappear permanently at 41 years old. Roman Reigns is not a cautionary tale. He's not a man whose career is defined by what it's becoming. Rather than what it was, he's a man standing at the intersection of peak legacy and inevitable ending, and the sadness people feel isn't about his decline. It's about the awareness that there's a last match coming, a last entrance, a last acknowledge me. And we don't know exactly when it is. We just know it's closer than it used to be. His battles in the ring and in real life show resilience, while his dedication to family highlights his character beyond wrestling. Whether fans admire him for his athleticism, charisma, leadership, or inspiring comeback from leukemia, Roman Reigns remains a global icon. The man who slept on Jey Uso's couch in 2009, trying to figure out if there was still a dream left after leukemia, killed his first one, is now a world champion at 41. The boy who was told by the Minnesota Vikings that his body had failed him is now one of the 6 longest reigning world champions. In the history of professional wrestling, what just happened to Roman Reigns? He won the championship. He's still here, still standing. The Roman Empire is back one more time for however long it lasts. And sad might be the wrong word for it after all. Bittersweet, maybe. Poignant. The feeling you get at the end of something you didn't want to end. Because when the music finally stops, when the finger stops pointing to the sky for the last time, the silence is going to be